Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am looking, I found the spot in the pages where I could be reading to you a couple pieces of micro-prose. I know this is a community poetry space, but a couple of pieces of micro-prose that appear in the back of one of the issues from the Down in the Dirt, January to April 2022 issue collection book that is titled The Ice That Was. The Ice That Was is matching my crazy blue chair, my crazy blue shirt, my crazy blue lipstick, and you probably can't even notice that I'm wearing crazy blue eyeliner. Probably not, but what are you going to do? Other than read to you writing from the back of these books, I hope you appreciate them. A couple pieces of micro-prose that would be fitting for the community poetry space. That would be on the first Wednesday of every month from 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That had to stop because of the pandemic, but I'm keeping the spirit alive here in this library space for you guys. Hang in there. This first piece I'm going to share with you is titled Fox in the Snow. Fox in the Snow. Thrown into journalism mode, I pulled my car over when I spotted him. I was on a roll this week, photographing elk, a bison recently, but this little creature, I've never seen a fox look so gold in my life. He was eating right at the edge of the road, near the tree, so I pulled over my car, turned off my engine. He didn't move. I opened my driver's side car door slowly. He still didn't move. I moved the car door to almost close so it didn't make noise. I made sure my Minolta Maxim 5000 35mm camera, the same camera I used for the newspaper to photograph girl snowball and college men's basketball games, rock bands for fluff articles, and fill photos for page 2. I made sure my camera was pressed firmly in my hand. You know, I always liked how that camera felt in my hand. I could cut my hand right along the edge, and it had this handle on it, perfectly fit into my hand, so my finger was always pointed at the shutter button. But once I got out of my car, camera in hand, door out of the way, I started taking steps to edge toward the fox. He was only 7 feet away from me. He was only 7 feet away from me, but I didn't want to use my zoom and lose quality shot. So, as I took another step, and then a third, to round the front corner of my car, the beautiful golden fox picked up his head to look at me. I didn't move. And the two of us froze there that moment. I noticed how perfectly golden he was. He looked like a stuffed animal, only more vibrant, more alive, and bigger than a stuffed animal, like a stuffed animal 2.5 times as long. This little beast was impressive as he picked his head up from eating, and he finally sensed me. After a moment, he turned and started leaping into the field to escape me. I started to follow. I forgot to mention that it was February. It was Wyoming, and there were 5 feet of snow on the ground, 5 feet from the side of the road. And yes, I started sprinting after him as it leaped away in the snow. I charged into the snow after it. I thought, I can make it through this snow. It's freshly fallen, still light. I can keep up. And I took 3 steps into the 5-foot-tall snow, and I was pretty much stuck. So I stopped and watched this fox leaping in bounds, and every few feet I'd see golden head pop up from the snow before I looked to confirm his direction with each subsequent leap. I'll watch him leap away for a minute, burning that memory of the golden fur in my skull before I trudge back to the car. The next piece that is in this book is a piece called The Robot Zombie Witch Girl Revisited. And actually, I believe it was a piece that I read the last night I ever had a show in Chicago before I moved away. I don't think it was in my show, but I think I read it that night. Anywho, this is a micro-prose called The Robot Zombie Witch Girl Revisited. This is my curse. How many demons am I supposed to fight? How many barricades to progress am I supposed to either find a way to physically break down with the palms of my hands? I know no one believes me, keeps shoveling the tasks for me to do into this huge heap in front of me, and I keep shoveling the mounds of loose rock and dirt soil over my casket, waiting to bury me. But I'm like one of those zombies in those bad black and white B horror movies that doesn't seem to die and just keeps coming back. I'm one of those zombies lacking all color and having orbs for eyes with arms outstretched, letting you know that I'm very slowly, with my right foot draped over in torn gauze, that I'm very slowly coming back, that somehow I'll make it back to haunt you. This is my curse. The problem is, with that bad right foot and all that gauze and that zombie walk I have to do with my legs are all straight, I feel like I'm one of those buxom zombie witches with long, straight black hair, and my feet thunk on the ground and my one foot drags, and I'm in this long black dress and all that gauze from my foot is dragging behind me, and it's so unattractive, and I can never make a surprise entrance. I think that's the problem with being a zombie girl who dresses in black and keeps coming back. Unlike an angel, my wounds don't get better, and I'm walking around with bandages, and I leave a blood trail behind me even when I try to clean up the mess I've made. It makes this undying zombie girl want to find religion so a god can come along and save me from all this. I want to look for crosses in everything. I look for the meaning in everything, and I try to get poetic, and I just fumble with the masses, and I wonder if they all think like me, that nothing makes sense. So I can't seem to wax poetic, and I can't seem to get religious, and I'm left here lost as I was before, and I'm dressed in black, and I'm losing blood, and hell, I don't know what else. I just know that I keep just sitting here, and I just look depressing, and I keep coming back, and so, well, don't be surprised. It's just me again. I'm gonna go to the next poem, and I'm gonna end it on a poem, but I'm gonna close this and show you. I have a computer thing here that has the actual original writing. This is not in the book. This is not in the book. If you go to the web page to look for this writing, you will see this traced as a high-res file, and you can see this writing. This is my curse, you see written on this page, because it was actually there, and it's kind of funny to see this from when it was originally written. But anyway, that's not even in the book, so that's just like a special added bonus. I hope you appreciate that. I'm going to share with you, I believe, one more poem, I believe. And then I might come for one other reading from Down in the Dirt magazine. But this one poem, right here after that zombie witch girl story, is a dreams poem in honor of David Rubin, who wrote to Dreams Poems and started the open mic I took over in Chicago for over half a decade. Dreams Poems. This one is titled Exposed and Abandoned. Dreams, 2020-324. At first, we were in our new apartment. I think it was in Logan Square. I was taking a bath. I had a towel wrapped around me. I was about to take the bath, so a towel was around me. Even though we lived in a first floor apartment, the windows were partially open and we could let fresh air flow. The blinds didn't go all the way down, so I could see people walking by, and one man stopped, tried to look in. This is when you started writing derogatory messages under the dirty window glass. I guess that was your attempt at stopping him. Of course, it didn't work. So just then, the man came over and you started yelling at each other through the 6-inch opened window pane. And there I was, wrapped in a towel, hoping you could just take some time for a bath. I mean, I wasn't even the one being confronted, but still, I clutched the towel securely around me. I felt so exposed. Later, I was walking near the front door of my new apartment, and 1 or 2 people just walked in. I stopped because they looked like they knew where they were supposed to be and that they were supposed to be here. So I said, I think you're in the wrong place. They looked at me, and one said that this was where they were meeting people for the wedding. Apparently they were in town for this wedding. So I asked about the address, and they mentioned 2. One of them mentioned a street, Waveland, and I said, well, there's one that sounds like that, but that we just moved here. And then they panicked, wondering if everyone had the wrong address or if it was just them. And I don't remember them leaving. They just stayed, because even though they had the wrong address, they thought that maybe more of them would be there than just me. But the next thing I knew was that you were with me again, and all of these people decided to go out to diner for breakfast in Chicago, and for some unknown reason we were going to go along with them. They were driving, so we all just piled in their car with them, and you and I were in the front, like I was in the middle space, but close to you, and more people from their wedding were crammed in at the back. And they must have had multiple cars, and they pulled up. I saw the diner across the street, and everyone was piling out together to be inside. And you started to go out so I could have room to move. And then I told you that I had to first get the newspaper pages out from my shoes before I could get out to the car and into the diner. I have no idea why there were newspaper pages in my shoes, but, you know, I couldn't go walking down the streets of Chicago with newspaper pages hanging out of my shoes. You said, okay, you'll meet me inside, so you could find where they were all going. And there I was, in a stranger's car, taking newspaper pages out from the insides of my shoes. I guess I just left the newspaper pages on the floor of the car when I finally was finished, walked and opened the door to the diner. I looked around the diner, scanned, searched, couldn't find you or any of the people that I could belong to anywhere. A French hostess looked at me, and I said I was with a large group that just came in. One man's name was John, and then I believe she said 6, or as in the tables, is 6 but not 16, or maybe that was the number of people who came, and she was putting a menu in her hand, and she started looking too. But even after soliciting the aid of a woman who spoke another language, I was still alone, and suddenly I felt so abandoned. Well, I hate to leave you guys all to be all abandoned and such, but I will come back maybe for one more reading from Down in the Dirt magazine, because I just finished that poem for you guys. This was a reading from The Ice That Was, which is January to April 2024 issue collection book from Down in the Dirt magazine from Scars Publications. Scars.tv is the web address for it. If you'd like to know anything about the book, you can always check it out. If you'd like to submit writing it Down in the Dirt, you're more than welcome to as well. Guidelines are there as well. So I hope that everybody is out on their own and they're feeling normal once again, and they've been vaccinated and they can be free and on their own. And if you do go around some nutcase who's got a sore throat and giving you a hard time in a bar, you might get COVID and have the equivalent of a cold. And hope you will be okay, because that's what happened to me in January of this year. What are you going to do? Anywho, so continue remaining safe. Continue remaining creatively inclined. I might come for a couple more readings for this 1 to 3 p.m. time frame for you guys. And yep, we've got some time to be able to read that off. I'm looking at the time to make sure that we've got enough time to pull this off. So I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you very, very soon. Thank each and every one of you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Down the dirt. Thanks.